I'm stealing fragrances again. So yes, good afternoon. My mum is currently up in the loft and I wanted to try out one of her fragrances on my afternoon walk today. Why? Because I saw it in her collection the other day and she was wearing it and it was super, super strong and I liked it. It reminded me of a fragrance, but I couldn't work out which one it was and I still can't, to be honest with you. But it is a women's fragrance. It's very, very feminine. So if you are a woman watching my channel, hopefully you'll enjoy this one. But it's called Elizabeth Arden Red Door. It's got this nice door effect on the back of it as well. It seems like a really nice fruity type fragrance from what I'm gathering so far. Obviously, we'll do a bit of a full review on it today. So if you haven't seen my reviews, I'm going to go out for an afternoon walk and I'm going to rank the fragrance on 5 categories. We'll look at its price / value for money. We'll look at its versatilities, how much you use it in different situations. We'll look at its projection, how much I'm noticing it during my walk. We'll look at compliment factors. Do I think people saying nice things about it? I've already complimented my mum on it because it smells very, very good. And also its longevity. So as I get near the end of the walk, how much can I still smell the fragrance? But obviously before we do all that, we need to go into the note breakdown for this one. I better be quick. I've got to put it back before she gets down from the loft. Let's spray a bit. Smells good. So let's have a quick look at the note breakdown then for Red Door. Now, it's kind of classed as an oriental floral, and it certainly is floral. It is everything floral about this. If I read out the notes, you're going to probably tell which ones are the most prominent here, but you've got yang yang, which I've never pronounced properly in the top, rose and fruity tones. You definitely get that in all of this. It's really strong. The rose is definitely prominent, and the fruity tones, you can kind of tell it's like this nice juicy berry type fragrance just by the colour red from this fragrance. In the heart though, you've got jasmine, orchid, lily of the valley and freesial carnation. Again, lending itself to that slight oriental edge with the carnation, bit of spice in there essentially. But it's the florals again, nice, clean, airy type fragrance and very pleasant. And then tying it all together, just smoothing around the edges, you've got a bit of sandalwood and oak moss. The oak moss definitely isn't really prominent in this, neither is the sandalwood. I think it's just balancing out the fragrance, just toning down those more fruity tones. They're not too much, too sharp, too juvenile, too synthetic essentially, but not really bringing anything to the table in terms of an overall smell. Honey and musk. So the honey adds that little bit of sweetness that you're getting from this, and the musk again, I always think musk and jasmine go well together. They give that white floral, clean, just out the shower type vibe. Springtime, washing on the line, that sort of smell. So it's very, very prominent. What you're getting here though is that nice rose, definitely the fruity tones, the jasmine and the musk, making it nice and clean. And I think the other notes are just sitting in the background, just tying them all together, binding the fragrance together. And yeah, making this overall very, very pleasant smell, which I can't wait to review today. So what we're going to do, we are going to head out in a minute. I've got my sunglasses on ready. I've even put shorts on today. So yeah, it's looking like a nice one. Can't wait to get on with it. See you out there. Now I do have to apologise in advance. You don't know what a windy day is like until you've been along the coast, because if you're by the sea, the wind is like magnified. It's so strong, it makes it impossible sometimes to run. So I'm hoping you'll be able to hear me for this one. But let's start with price / value for money then for Elizabeth Arden Red Door. Now I'll be honest with you, I've heard of Elizabeth Arden because my dad tends to buy it for my mum, and she has like all the hand creams from them. But I was never really sure. I had no idea in my mind what the price of a fragrance of theirs would be. I really didn't. I was kind of expecting, after I smelt this one for the first time, it was going to be expensive, sort of 60 to 80 pounds. So just to have a look online a minute ago, I was pleasantly surprised to see it's around that sort of 25 to 35 pound range, and even at like full retail price, it's only like 60 pound, I think, at the very, very tops. And obviously you don't need to pay that price for it because you can get it cheaper online. So do I think that is good value for money? Well, absolutely I do. And the reason that is because of its scent quality and also just its general strength. It smells really high quality. Sometimes when you have really strong fragrances, particularly on those more fruity floral sides, it can be a bit synthetic smelling. It can be too much. You feel like you want to wash it off. And sometimes they can also be a little bit kiddie. Those synthetic sort of fruity fragrances feel a bit juvenile, a bit girly. Whereas this one doesn't feel like that. This one feels like a more grown-up floral fragrance with, yeah, a bit more depth about it. Again, a bit more sophistication and, yeah, just general classiness. That's what really appealed to me. This doesn't have, as I said, there's nothing in it that's too complex, but everything feels well blended together. And despite its strength, it doesn't feel like it's going to burn your nostrils or anything like that. And it's just bright and uplifting. And what I really like, and obviously we'll talk about this more, is the scent trail. The scent trail on this is enormous. You can walk into a room, go into another room, and you know someone's put this on, even if they've only been in there for 2 seconds. I think that lends itself to the fact that I think this is a very high quality oils they've used, and they've blended them really well together. When you've got so many strong notes in this fragrances, like your jasmine, like your yang yang, can be very strong. You know, even orchid, lily of the valley, rose can be super prominent. They've blended it so well together that it doesn't feel like anything's just trying to be the big fish in this fragrance. Essentially, it all feels like they're happy to work together, and that base with the musk, the sandalwood, oak moss, it just tames the fragrance. It just rounds the fragrance off together without it feeling too harsh. It's classy, it's sophisticated, and that price is amazing. And I really think, yeah, it surprised me. I smelled a lot of my mum's fragrances in the past. This one is right up there, so I'm going to give price slash value for money 10 out of 10. So let's move on to versatility then for Elizabeth Arden Red Door. How much do I think you can dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, initially I was thinking this must be like a nice summer fragrance. When you look at the notes, it's like, yeah, fruity notes. You've got obviously the floral components, and they're kind of airy floral components like jasmine. They're white florals which remind you of the summertime, springtime, yang yang, you know, all those types of notes. And the rose isn't really dark here either, but it's just too heavy for those occasions. I mean, I'm starting to melt on this walk now, and with that wind blowing into my face, you can barely escape the smell of it. We'll obviously go on to projection next. I think this is going to work best in those transition seasons. I think if you're hot and sweaty, you know, I wouldn't want to wear this to the gym. It's too sticky, it's too cloying, it would be a bit nauseating. But a climate controlled environment like an office, you know, if you're going on like a lunch and meet up with friends, a little walk along the beach, anything like that, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. It's better than a dumb reach scent, and it does feel a little bit more grown up. You know, fruity notes in fragrances can sometimes be a little bit bubblegummy. You know, those youthful ones are quite bubblegummy. This one isn't. This one feels like a fragrance for a sort of 25, 30-year-old. And when you've got a note like carnation in this, which used to be a lot of old school men's fragrances, and you barely see it at all now, particularly in those younger type scents, you know, that says to me it's meant to be a bit more grown up, this one, particularly with those florals as well. So, yeah, for me, I think it's transition season, I think it's best. I think it's that smart casual attire and climate controlled environments. And apart from that, it's got signature scent potential. You know, you could have this, as we touched upon a minute ago, but in combination with maybe a light citrus fragrance, I think this would work really well. So versatility is great. It's just on those more formal, sort of hot weather and really cold weather occasions, I wouldn't choose it. So I'm going to give versatility for that reason a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's not bad at all. But yeah, if I was a woman, I'd just want something else just to complement this one for those hot weather days, those dumb reach occasions when you just want to smell clean and fresh and not too cloying from being so sweaty. So moving on to projection then for Red Door, do I think this one is a strong projector? Well, certainly at the minute, walking down here, I can just smell it kicking off. This top I applied on underneath, it is really heavy. It's almost like I'm on quite a wide road at the minute. If someone was sort of just the other side of the road, 4 or 5 metres away, and obviously they're following my scent trail, they would definitely notice this. It would be one where they go, that person in front's got a strong spray. Certainly if you've oversprayed, so you spray 5, 10 times, they're going to pick this up. But if I was wearing this one in an office, probably, to be honest, would only sort of apply 2 or 3 sprays, and that'd be more than enough for someone sitting next to you to notice it within your scent bubble. This is one, again, which is going to stick in a room. If you walk from room to room, people are going to wonder who that is that's got that fragrance on, and they're going to say good things about you, because it's a nice, positive, happy scent. When you've got these sort of fruity notes, these floral components, it just reminds you of the spring, the summer, clean, fresh. And yeah, I always like, you know, phrases because they make you feel better in yourself, and it just gives a good impression. If you're someone who, you know, made an effort with your hair, which I never do, you know, with your clothing, if you turn up for work and you put this nice fragrance on, I just think it shows, yeah, it shows you look after yourself, and you're just an inviting person, a positive person. It's a positive scent. And yeah, for me, the projection here is really good. It's making my nose run, it's that strong. I don't think so. I think that's more the hay fever catching up on me, but I've got to give projection 10 out of 10. I think this is going to be in my scent bubble for the next 2-3 hours, certainly during the length of this walk. moving on to compliment factor then, do I think this is a compliment getting fragrance? Well, judging by the fact the reason I'm reviewing this is because I gave my mum a compliment on it, the answer's got to be yes. However, why did I? Someone asked me the question, why did I compliment it? Why did I mention it to my mum? What's the main reason? Was it because of the scent being a real statement? Or was it because I noticed it because it was so strong? And obviously, as we've just said, the projection's really strong. It probably was more the fact it was the projection was so strong. Look, do I think this is a really nice scent as well? Of course I do. Otherwise I wouldn't have mentioned it at the time. But it's its strength that made me notice it more than anything else. I think if this one, or I think if you're a sort of person who wants to wear a fragrance in those more intimate settings, because let's be honest, not everyone wants to be really loud with what they're wearing. They want people to be drawn into them a little bit more. This isn't that scent. This one gets confidence through being strong. You know, it's not one I'd want to sort of get closer to that person too much, because I think it would just take your breath away. It's just that strong. So it probably gets its confidence through its strength rather than its scent profile. And the other thing I actually said to my mum at the time, I said, have you had this one before? You know, it smells familiar. And there's, even though I looked on Fragrantia, there's nothing that it seems to be cloning particularly, but it doesn't smell like something that I've not smelt before. So it's obviously maybe a genre of fragrance that's obviously quite popular in women's perfumery, that you could use this, but you could also wear many different fragrances, even if it doesn't smell quite the same. That genre, that fruity floral smell is just very prominent. So it's not going to maybe give you that, you know, unique factor, that wowness that maybe someone's looking for compliments to make them stand out a little bit more. It's a bit more safe, let's say, in that sense. So I think for that reason, you almost got to mark it down just a little bit. And I'm going to say for that reason, compliment factor, based on the factors where you wouldn't want to wear this too much in like a gym environment, or like a, you know, it's not a dumb reach scent, so it does limit sometimes its versatility and use then to get compliments. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's still very good. My opinion on this is changing all the time because I have no preconceived idea of this fragrance before I put it on a minute ago. But it is still nice. It's still mass pleasing. I just think it's probably the fact that, again, not everyone would want this loud one, and on those more cozy date night situations, maybe this isn't it. It's just too loud, and yeah, you might pick your date off after an hour or two wearing it. On to the final round then, longevity. I'm getting near the end of my walk now. It's about an hour and 15 minutes since I applied the fragrance. How much can I still smell it? Is it still on my top? Yes, it is, but it's probably about 65% as strong. Now, I thought this was going to be like nuclear strong on your top for ages, because I thought the honey in this fragrance might make it really stick to your clothing for days. But I'm starting to think now that this is more about the projection that's really strong more than the longevity. From my experience of having sort of fruity notes in the past, they tend to pack a punch early, particularly like berry fragrances, and they soon fall off quite quickly, particularly after a shower or anything. They don't seem to hang around, and sometimes you get that with florals as well, but there's no two ways about it. It is still there, it's still noticeable, and I think it will get you through the day on a more cooler day. But if you're getting hot and bothered like I am at the minute, maybe it isn't going to be quite as strong. Now, there may be a couple of reasons why the longevity, I feel, has dropped, even maybe it hasn't. One is because the wind is now behind me, and two is that the fact I'm eating a buttermint at the minute, so that minty sort of taste in my mouth may be taking a bit of the edge away, but I don't think this one is going to be quite as strong in terms of its longevity as it is in its projection. I think that's a good thing. As we just touched upon a minute ago, this can be a little bit too loud, and in those intimate settings, that's not what you're going to really want. So maybe if you've gone out for a meal first and then you come back and then you start watching like something on Netflix, maybe then it would be okay to get a little bit close to that person wearing this one. So I'm going to have to mark it down a tiny bit on longevity, even though I do think it's good that it isn't too strong, because if you've got a 100ml bottle of this, I think you'd be bored of it by about 30 minutes if it was that long lasting anyway. 8.5 out of 10. It's still very good. It's probably about right for most people, you know. Again, I say this, I'm someone who likes those beast mode scents, but even I think, I don't think I'd want this, just based on the note and the profile of it, the florals. I think it'd be nauseating if it was 80-90% still after an hour. It's probably about 65-70%. That's probably about right for me. So I think 8.5 is a fair score for it. there we are. That is it for today. It is gorgeous along here. Apologies for the wind. I'll try and talk a little bit closer to the phone, but the waves are gorgeous as well. I'm so glad it's spring. I love being by the sea, and I have to say I do love wearing this fragrance. Even though I smell like a women's handbag, Elizabeth Arden Red Door has done very well based on the 5 rounds. It has scored 43 out of 50, and look, it's done well in all the rounds. There's a couple of 7.5s in there, but where I think this one is done really well, and the main reason I wanted to review this, which I was most surprised by in terms of the round, was definitely its price. I can't believe it's that cheap. For the projection you get of this fragrance and the quality of the scent, it's brilliant, because it's a heavy fragrance. It is a heavy fragrance without feeling though that it's very synthetic. It feels sophisticated, it feels grown up, and it just feels like someone who's well put together. And I think now coming into this springtime, again, washing's going out on the line now, not in the tumble dryer in the same way. Women may be wearing more dresses and things. It feels like it's more situation relevant to this time of year, and that's probably also lended itself to getting a good score overall. But it is a good fragrance. It's a brand that I've never really looked at, obviously being a women's brand anyway, but it's one that I don't know how many people know about, Elizabeth Arden, so definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking this one out in particular as well. But I'm sure they do other products like creams and stuff. I'm sure my mum's got like foot creams and stuff along those lines. And yeah, my dad wouldn't buy it for if he didn't think they were a good brand. So yeah, good scent, very, very feminine smelling. I'll be honest with you, men, if you're watching this one, which you probably are more likely to be a male watching these, as I do men's fragrances in general, don't buy this for yourself, but as for a partner or for a birthday present, anything along those lines, I really recommend this one. Worth checking out, because that price, it is punching above its weight, and they won't know any different, will they? But thank you very much for watching today. Time to finish this walk and get back and try out my new tripod. So hopefully you'll see me in some better filming edits soon. Catch you later.